Hello, everybody. Welcome to week 2 or episode 2 From Grief to Gratitude. I am so excited today, and I know you will be too, to meet a dear, sweet friend of mine, Beth Vincent. And Beth, I've known her for a little over a year, I guess, you
Yes.
think?
Uh-huh.
And it's been a rough year in her life. It's been probably the hardest year she's ever had, and that she hopefully will ever have. But Beth has a beautiful spirit and a beautiful attitude and a beautiful story. It's a love story. And not only does Beth love the Lord, but she loves her family in an immense way that you'll understand when you hear her story. So, Beth, welcome.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
Yeah.
I'm so honored. I
Wow.
really am. Thank you.
I'm thrilled that you're here. And Beth, tell them a little bit about your family. You can show your picture.
Okay. This is my beautiful family. Um, Logan is here to my left. I have my son Landon, my daughter-in-law Catherine, my son John, and that's myself and my husband. We were at Catherine and John's wedding. That was probably our last really fun, great family event that we all did together.
Mm-hmm.
So that's extra special, not only with them getting married, but because we were all together. There were no problems. No,
Yeah. Oh, that's always good
yes.
when you've got your family together
Yes,
and
it's really
no
good.
problems. That's good.
Thank you.
So you had a good time at the wedding.
We
Now, when
did.
was that?
This was in 2020,
2020.
February.
February.
Mm-hmm.
And in December, or start with Logan's addiction.
Okay. Logan's addiction, he started trying drugs when he was in high school. He was a very, very good athlete. He started trying drugs, and that just took over.
Yeah.
It ruined his interest for baseball, which he loved. It ruined his interest for just about everything.
Everything except the drugs.
Everything.
And that's what
except the
happens,
drugs.
right? It takes over.
Yes, it does
their
take
life.
over. Yes, it does. And he had some wonderful people at Thompson High School that really cared about him, really helped him. And I'm so thankful to those people today. They are Angela McKnight, my counselor, Wendy McNish, and a very sweet teacher of his, Katie Houghton. I don't know what I would do without those three. And I will never forget them for their kindness during that very, very hard time in our life.
Makes a difference, doesn't
Yes,
it?
it
When you've
does.
got people who really love you. And
Yes, because not everybody's going to step up.
no, you find out who your friends are,
Yes,
right?
you do. Yes, you do.
Yeah. So, do you know what caused him to start? Was it the influence of friends? Was
I
it?
think so. I asked him one day, I said, honey, did I do anything? Have you had any type of really horrible experience or trauma in your life that I don't know about that could have caused this? And he's very honest.
Mhm.
And he said, no, Mama, I was just interested.
Just interested.
So his interest is what got him going.
Can you show them your tattoo?
Yes, I would love to.
It's so. It's
I don't know how I can.
it's kind of inspirational. I don't know if she can do it.
Yeah.
It says, "I love you, Mama, your son and best friend Logan, and I love too." And that was a note that he had written that's in his handwriting, and she had that tattooed on her arm, and I love it.
Thank you.
I love it. So he got interested in drugs, and so how long did that go on?
It was off and on for a while.
Yes.
Off and on for a while. He always worked hard. He always had really good jobs. Very blessed. But the last time, right before he overdosed, he was clean for almost 3 years.
Clean for 3 years.
Yes.
That's a long time.
Oh, I was so happy.
You know, and they say that you always have the ability to fall back very
Yes.
easily
Yes.
if you're in the wrong place at the wrong time or
Yes.
going through circumstances. So during that time that he was clean, what was he doing for Jesus?
Oh, he attended the Church of the Highlands, and his fiance and I, we would all three go together. Um, he and she rescued dogs. They spoke at all different kinds of meetings and anything they could do to help somebody. And I do want to say that if you have a child or anybody in your family that has a drug problem, please don't be ashamed of them. Please don't. Because I will honestly say some people tried to make me feel ashamed, like, oh my gosh, what in the world is wrong with you? What's wrong with your family? And I know people talk behind our backs, and that's okay. I don't care about that. But I'm just telling people that are in my situation, don't run from it. Don't hide from it. You're not the only ones.
Right.
The people that I have opened up to, or I've even said, my son passed away of a drug overdose a little over a year ago. They'll say, oh my goodness, well, my son so-and-so, or my daughter. You know, that's when they open up and you realize just about everybody's got something.
In almost every family, even if it's not as close as your own child,
Yes.
but cousin or
Yes.
and even your friends.
Friends,
And
it
it
could be a
is-
spouse.
It's kind of taboo to talk
Yes.
about,
And it shouldn't be.
but it shouldn't be.
No.
There shouldn't be any reason why it's not like anything else we can't discuss. And drug addiction is a disease.
It's a disease since 1985. Yes, ma'am.
Long before that, but
Yes.
recognized as
Yes,
a
ma'am.
disease then. So he has this disease. He's come through it, and he is singing on worship team, right? Praise team?
He was on the what is the serve team at Church of the Highlands? The
For music.
no, it was for I can't think of that word. So
But that's okay. He served on a serve team,
Yes.
which was helping others.
Yes, and this was at Grants Mill, at Church of the Highlands at Grants
Mm-hmm.
Mill. He was very involved there. He and his roommate at that particular time were very involved. And there were some very wonderful people to him there that really helped him there. Yes, and they were involved in different projects there, and just so thankful. I'm so thankful for that in Church of the Highlands. And I'm also want to give a shout out to Turning Point.
Turning Point.
And that's where he was for 90 days. And then he was home for a month and 3 days. And then he overdosed. But Turning Point was absolutely wonderful and the best.
So he relapsed around when?
He relapsed December the 8th. He had a drug overdose in our home. He was coming to spend the night. And a very, very bad overdose happened. And my husband did CPR on him for 8 minutes until the firefighters and policemen got there. And he was in Shelby ICU for 6 days on a Narcan drip.
Oh my goodness.
And his fiance and I took him straight to Turning Point after that. I mean, he went by Buffalo Wild Wings, stayed in the car, and wouldn't let him out. You know, and we got his food. That's all he wanted.
Had to have some Buffalo Wild Wings.
Yes, and then we took him right to Turning Point, and he was there for 90 days, and it is just an amazing place with amazing people.
So then he was clean again.
He was clean.
You got through Christmas. I bet that was a big celebration.
Well, it was. He was still there during Christmas.
Oh, he was still in the hospital.
there.
Oh, at Turning Point.
At Turning Point,
Yeah,
but we
okay.
got to go see him some, you know, and it was kind of COVID, at the end of COVID, and, you know, so we kind of had to deal with, could we come, could we not come?
Yeah.
But we did get to see him, and, you know, it was great.
Yeah.
We were all happy, and we were just so proud of him, and, you know, people were very drawn to him. He always had a lot of friends wherever he went. So he had a lot of friends there that we met. And
So he was real involved in a softball.
he loved his softball
Shout
team.
out to his team.
Shout out to his team, and you even went
Yeah, I
after
did.
one game.
Yes.
And they were, oh my gosh, they were just wonderful to him, and they dedicated their season to him. They said their best pitcher and their best hitter, you know, they lost him 2 weeks ago, and they dedicated the season to him, and they actually won that season.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, now they had special jerseys made, right?
Yes, they did. They had special jerseys. His nickname was Sauce. So they had special jerseys for everyone in the family. I was Mama Sauce and Daddy Sauce and Brother Sauce, and they were just the coolest young men ever. Like I'll just never forget.
Yeah, the one that I actually got to talk to and meet was so really sweet. And they all dealt with the same thing
Yes.
that Logan dealt with.
Yes.
But they were clean and they
Yes.
were living the good life.
Yes,
you
that
know?
was Hanskin, I believe.
Hanskin.
Yes,
He was so
very
cool,
nice.
and his wife and
Yes.
children. So the reason that I wanted her to talk about that is because that was a big part of healing for her after he passed away, right? Because they
Yes.
minister to you by loving him and by honoring him.
Yes.
So when we're talking about something you can do to help someone like Beth who's going through this tremendous grief, don't think that you can't involve them in something like a baseball game just because they've gone through that. Now, it may be their choice that they're not ready for that or don't want to do that, but what I'm just saying is call them, invite them, and you just don't know what difference that might make.
No,
right?
you don't. And in fact, I don't think I was aware, or if I was at this last minute, that they were going to have new jerseys and, give his fiance and I new jerseys. But those young men just have the absolute most beautiful hearts, and they are the most giving young men. And I just can't tell you how much that meant to me. And it's something I will never forget. I will never forget that kindness. They just don't know what that has done. I'll never forget it. Never, ever, 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 ever.
And that's what we want to share with you, how you can recover as well if you're going through this, if you've been through it. Let people love on you.
Yes, and don't be afraid to say their names. Don't be afraid to say Logan.
Right.
Don't be afraid to say his name. I love him so much, and I want his name to always be said. And I would just get different texts, and even from strangers would text me saying how he had helped them when their car ran off the road into a ditch, and how he stayed with them, made them feel very calm. She said, I looked into his beautiful blue eyes, and he kept asking me questions to keep me calm. And just things like that you don't think, it probably won't mean anything, but it does.
But it does.
Yes,
really
it means
does.
so much.
So he got out of Turning Point when?
He got out of Turning Point. I don't know the exact date, but I do know it was a month and 3 days before he overdosed.
And he overdosed on April 18th,
Yes.
2022.
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Tell us about that day.
My sweet daughter-in-law, I'll just call her my daughter-in-law because as far as I was concerned, they were married, called me and she said, Mama, I think something's wrong with Logan. And I was getting ready for work and I said, honey, I'll be right over there. So when I got to their house, they were living together, and when I got to their house, the ambulance was gone, the firefighters were gone, and there were two police officers there. And they told me, ma'am, I'm so sorry to give you this news, but your son is deceased. So I went in the house and met with Lacey, and, we talked about it, and I wanted to see him. He was still in their bedroom.
Yeah.
She found him. I wanted to, see him, but they said, no, you don't need to see him. So I didn't. I listened to them. I figured they knew the best.
Right.
And I did see him leave in a body bag.
Ooh, that's tough.
Yeah, that was very, very tough. That was very hard. And the coroner, I will have to say the coroner, who is Lena, I can't remember Lena's last name, but she was an absolutely wonderful, beautiful, sweetest, most professional
I've heard that
woman.
from someone else who
Yes.
lost his wife.
Yes, oh, she was great. She was like nothing was a bother to her.
Mm-hmm. That's what I heard.
Nothing was a bother. Never bothered her. And we didn't call her many times, but if we did, it's okay.
Yeah. Good.
And she said, call me anytime about anything.
You know, so many times people in those professions, even police officers, paramedics, which I give them huge kudos and shout outs, but there are some times when it just isn't as smooth and good as that.
That's correct. That is correct.
That
Yes,
helped
ma'am.
you, and that
Yes,
ministered to her.
Yes, it did. Yeah, just the kindness of people means so much at that time.
You know, people don't know what to say,
They don't. And I understand that.
and sometimes they say inappropriate things.
And they don't mean to.
That's wondered how you dealt with
Yeah,
that.
and they don't mean to.
No, they don't.
Mm-mm.
And so they're afraid to say anything a lot of times, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because they're afraid they'll say the wrong thing.
Oh, I had someone at school come up and apologize to me for saying something that she thought might have hurt my feelings. And I said, honey, it did not. Like, just thank you for saying his name. You know, that did not hurt my feelings at all. And I appreciate you saying what you did to me. You did not hurt my feelings. Nothing can really hurt my feelings. It really can't.
So as a mother, how are you dealing with this? How have you dealt with it? How are you still going on and not just staying in bed every day?
Well, it's the strength of the Lord. And I want to thank God for giving me my family. And I want to thank God that I have Sammy and Landon and John and Logan. And now I have a daughter-in-law, Catherine. But with Logan being gone, he's just opened up so much to me. I feel like he's pulled layers off of me and opened me up, and he's made me see so many beautiful things out of this.
Wouldn't he be proud of that?
Logan would be so proud. Logan always used to tell me, when I'd say, Logan, I need your prayers. I got this coming up. And he'd say, Mama, don't you worry about this. God's got you on it now. Don't worry about it. And I just hear him say that to me all the time. Some of his words and his little sayings are very soothing to me and help get me through the day. But I just want to thank God that he chose me to be Logan's mother. I'm so thankful of that.
Yes.
And I think that I thought one day after Logan got to heaven, I thought to myself, well, this was no surprise to God.
No, true.
And God picked me to be Logan's mother.
That's so true.
So God knew this was going to be for me. God knew this was going to be my journey. And he picked me to be Logan's mother, and he picked me for this journey.
Yes, he did.
And I'm not going to let him down, and I'm not going to let Logan down. Even though Logan had the problems he had, Logan loved life and he loved people. And people loved him. People were very drawn to him. And I'm not going to let them down. I'm just not. I've started wearing brighter colors because Logan always wore bright colors. And my favorite color was always red and black. But now I've started wearing brighter colors because he was just a bright colored person. And, he really loved life, except for that part of his life that ruined it.
Well, and it does, and it ruins so many lives. And I just want to say, if you're having a problem with drugs or you know someone who is, get help.
Yes.
Before you have to go through what Beth is going
Yes.
through, still going through.
Yes.
Because that'll be a lifetime journey.
It will be, and we won't ever be able to move forward. We will just keep going backwards because that's all we have of him. Like
With Logan,
yes, because the pictures I have now, that's all the pictures I'm ever going to have of him, And I'm grateful to have those.
Right, oh sure.
Yeah.
But you're moving forward
Yes.
with Landon and John and
Yes.
the girls.
And my husband.
And Sammy, her husband.
Yes, we are. I think we're doing really, really good. We're a very close family.
Mm-hmm.
We've always leaned on the Lord.
Mm-hmm.
We've always leaned on each other.
Mm-hmm.
We've always loved each other no matter what. We've always had a good relationship with Logan. That's another thing that I can honestly say in my heart, I'm so proud that there was no discord, there was no anger. There was no fussing. There was no get out of my life. We didn't have any of that. We had a good relationship with him, and he did us despite all the problems we had. But the problems we had didn't hurt anybody but himself and us.
Right.
I don't think it hurt anybody else. But my brother in law has got this really cool saying that I've really hung on to for years. And he says that even the bad times were the good times as long as we're together.
That's really neat.
Isn't
I
it
like
neat?
that.
Yeah.
I'll have to write that down.
So that's how I feel about our journey.
Say it again. Even the bad times
Were the good times.
were the good times.
As long as we were together.
As long as we were
Yeah.
together. I love that.
So that's kind of how we were.
Yeah.
Even though sometimes things were not so great, hey, we were together
That's right.
and we got this.
And that's the case in any family or any
Yes.
group of friends. It's
Yes.
not always smooth sailing.
No, it's not.
Tell me how your husband Sammy dealt with this and how that affected you two.
Okay. Luckily, we've been married 35 years and we have a very strong marriage. And we're friends.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And we're friends.
Yeah, that's good.
We're friends and we respect each other. So that I know a lot of people get divorced when a child
Yeah.
passes away.
Right.
That has not gotten in the way of our relationships. I have other people I talk to. I have my wonderful counselor, Wendy McNish, she's so amazing. I was telling her this weekend that I cried for a certain amount of time. She said, I'm so glad you did.
Mhm.
And I thought, oh, well, thank you. I didn't expect that.
Yeah.
And then, and I told her, that I tell people, well, Logan passed away of a drug overdose. And she told me that was so good that I don't try to disconnect or try to further myself from his drug use.
Mhm.
That people need to hear that my son died from a drug overdose.
That didn't have to happen.
That didn't have
it's
to
not
happen.
like a natural. That would be different, I think. But you're not ashamed.
I'm not ashamed.
And that's
I'm not ashamed.
And I want to encourage people too to don't be ashamed. Don't
Yes.
let your pride get in the way
That's right.
of getting help either before or after something happens.
That's right. Do not be ashamed. Nobody means to do this.
No,
Nobody
no,
wants
no.
to live a life like this. Nobody wants to at all. Do not be ashamed of your loved one, especially, your child. Just love them. They love you. There may be times when you don't feel like it or they may not act like
Yeah.
it, but they do love you. And I'm just so fortunate and so proud that God always gave my husband and I his spirit, that we were always, we weren't the best perfect parents.
Well, there's no such thing.
No, and he was not the best perfect son, but he was perfect for us. He was perfect for us.
That's what counts.
And yes.
So Sammy was able to deal with it. Did he have setbacks or?
I'm sorry, I never answered that. He's not probably doing as well as I am because I am getting out and talking about it.
Mm-hmm.
He has his best friend, which is his brother,
Mm-hmm.
that he talks to everything about.
Yeah.
And I think that's wonderful. And I really do thank his brother Jimmy so much. Like, he has been a rock for all of us.
So
he really has.
that's another good thing. Then have somebody you can talk to.
Yes.
Your brother or a friend or
Yes.
somebody, even if it's not like Beth is so social and so loved and so, like she's like Logan. People are drawn to her. They want to be close to her because she's so much fun and she has such a sweet spirit and she's just yummy.
Oh,
You
thank
are.
you.
You're yummy.
Thank you so much.
So it's going to be a journey and a battle, and everybody deals with it different, has a different type. What about Landon?
Landon does not say much.
He's quiet.
He's very quiet. and he won't say much at all, and that's okay because I know everybody grieves differently.
They do.
And it's okay. I don't push him.
No.
I just let him come and talk to me whenever he wants to talk.
Mm-hmm.
And I know he loves his brother, and I know he misses him very much.
Yeah. Well, that would be. I just lost a sister.
I'm so sorry.
Thank you. A year ago, and even though it was an illness. Well, I know we said drug addiction's an illness as well, but it's tough.
It's very tough.
It's tough.
Yes.
And so I know for Landon, losing his brother, who he was close to, had to just be. And John.
Mm-hmm. John is a little more vocal.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a little more vocal, and sometimes I feel like he is telling me things maybe Logan would want to tell me.
Mm.
I really do. That's how vocal and that's how right on spot he is with some of the things he tells me.
What's interesting about that, she had Logan, who was outgoing and very expressive, and then John in the middle, who is in the middle with, I don't mean age-wise, but as far as personality.
Yes.
And then Landon, who's quieter. And
Yes.
so, like she said, there's no right and wrong way to deal with things.
Absolutely.
Our whole goal is to help you find something that will help you. And that's one reason why I think you should know about different people, how they deal with it, what they deal with, and how they get through the journey. Because it's a journey.
It is a journey, and I would love to see more Bible study groups opened up to parents who have lost children, young children, older children. It would be great if you could categorize, from drug overdoses or different kinds of trauma, because I think you're going to feel different things.
I think
with
so.
a different kind of death, and even women that have had stillborn babies and miscarriages.
Mm-hmm.
I just think, and I know there's Bible studies out there for them. I have a friend that's was very involved in one, but luckily she has a baby now, so I'm really happy for her. So I would love to see more for the kind that I need, and maybe one day I can start one. I would
have
love
a
to.
feeling that this girl's going to be a crusader.
I would love to do
and
that.
that you're going to see a lot more of her in different places.
I would love to.
Yeah, so I think that will be healing as well, don't you?
I think so. Yes.
So, not to go back to sad things, but I want to just touch on when he passed, you had help from Turning Point, correct?
I don't know what we would have done without Turning Point. Turning Point, thank you. Yes.
How did you navigate through those days, immediately afterwards? I'm kind of going backwards, but how did you know? Were you in a fog?
Well, I say that God puts you in a movie.
Okay.
That's how I describe it.
Okay.
I
Tell us about that.
Well, I experienced it when my mother passed away.
Mm-hmm.
I felt like I really wasn't here.
Mm-hmm.
I felt like I was here, but it really wasn't me. Like I was maybe a character.
Like you're going
in
through
a
the
movie.
motions.
Yes, like I'm acting out a part. And then of course when Logan passed away, I really didn't. Yeah, I didn't know, and his fiance was really great and really got a lot done. She's very involved with Turning Point, and she really got a lot of things together for Logan. So I really appreciate her very much for that.
So there were people who pitched in at that time and helped with the
goodness,
service and
yes.
with the reception, right? You had a reception?
We had his funeral at Southern Directional.
Mm-hmm.
They are wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
They go over and beyond.
Mm-hmm.
They were absolutely wonderful. So we had help from Southern Directional. We had help from Turning Point.
Mm-hmm.
He worked at Southern Directional. Did I skip that?
That's what you said
Okay.
was the...
Okay, Southern Directional. We're going to have to do something.
That's his work?
That's
Okay.
his work.
Okay.
And I don't mind saying this because they are all about the Lord, but they paid for his little spot, and his spot cost $15,000.
Wow.
And they were like, please let us do something.
Wow.
Please. And please don't tell anybody this right now because we want to give all the glory to the Lord.
Wow.
So Southern Heritage is where we had his funeral and burial memorial.
Mhm.
Southern Directional is where he worked.
Okay.
And oh my gosh, they had the most, he's got the most amazing bosses.
Yeah.
They are just of God. They are just angels.
That makes me think that, you know, even if you are an employer and you lose someone, just how much you can make an impact. And I'm just blown away by that.
Well, thank you. And I was too. And his boss even said he was more than an employee to us.
Mm.
We loved him very much.
Everybody's going to rush and want to work there.
They are great. They are wonderful.
So you got through that. It's been a year now. What about the anniversary of his passing?
We had a little cookout at
That's
my house.
awesome.
Yes, my husband's family. They are so the men in that family. It's the men that are so awesome, and some of my husband's closest friends. We had a party, and one of my sister-in-laws was there, and some of the wives, my nephew, his wife, Landon, John, and his wife, and my grandson. They were all there, and we had a birthday cake for him.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
That
we
is
did.
so
Yeah,
cool.
we had a birthday for his birthday.
That's so cool.
So
How old is your grandson?
he will be 2 on July 21st.
Oh my
No, I'm
gosh.
sorry, 1.
One.
He'll be 1 July 21st. Yes.
They grow up fast. Don't push
Yes.
them too
And
fast.
he's so cute. He's the
One.
cutest thing.
I love that. So Landon did not get to. Logan did not get to see the baby.
No, and he was so excited. I showed him the picture of the ultrasound
Mm-hmm.
that John and Catherine had given me for Christmas. He was at Turning Point. And I said, look, honey, look at this. He grabbed it right from my hand and took it to his room at Turning Point and had it on his nightstand.
He would have been a great daddy.
Yes, and a great uncle.
Great uncle,
Yes,
yeah.
he was so excited.
That's good.
He could not wait.
Well, he's hopefully, if that's how it goes, he sees him from heaven.
Yes, he does.
Is there anything else you want to share with us about your recovery or?
Well, I've just decided that when I need to be sad, I'm going to be sad. I'm not going to try to cover that up. I'm not going to be all over the place crying. I may be over in a corner crying, and I'm just going to have to do that. When I did that this weekend, my boys were like, "Okay, Mom, do what you got to do."
I have my moments.
And they were laying out, but they were like, "That's fine.
Yeah.
Just do whatever." And I cried like I had a leak in my face somewhere. And then once I got it out, I was okay.
Mm-hmm.
Like I was okay.
I've cried a lot of tears myself, so I understand that, and I get that. Something else that I remember Beth telling me was that she received, I don't know how many cards in the mail.
Yes.
So many people just post on Facebook and send their condolences that way, and that's good. There's a place for that, but also there's something about a written card. Tell me about that. How many cards did you get?
Oh my
do you
goodness.
know?
No, I don't know. I got so many that I could not even go through them all. It took me a while to go through them, and they were so kind. People are so kind. And even I had my little classroom at school, they sent me cards. Miss May, who is a teacher that's across the hall from us, she had her students make a card, cards for me, and they were absolutely wonderful. One of them has Mrs. Vincent's son, God, and Jesus up in the clouds, and Mrs. Vincent down at the bottom. And it was just so sweet. It just touched my heart. They are the sweetest kids, and Katie May, I really appreciate that. I really do. Like, she's really awesome and thoughtful. So I work with so many great people. Everybody that I work with have been absolutely wonderful.
Well, I know they love you.
Well,
And
they've
people,
been great.
I'll talk to people who in the same place, they're substitute teacher, and she'll say, "Oh, I know her," and so that speaks very highly of you.
Thank you.
Because a lot of times you get what you give out, and I know you give your heart to everybody.
I do. I love the kids. I love my kids, and they make me very happy. So it's just just being there, keeping my mind off things, and they just keep me happy. So I'm glad to be at work. Actually, I'm glad when I get to go to work, and it's my happy place.
That's good.
It really. I know not a lot of people can say that or don't think that.
Not about their work.
I appreciate everybody from admin to just everybody that is so nice to me.
That's good.
And kind, and very kind, and they pray for me. They have prayed with me. You don't see that a lot.
No, you don't. And to have those random acts of kindness can leave a lifetime impression.
Yes, it can. I'll never forget it.
I love you.
I love you too.
I think you are awesome. I'm so proud of you.
Oh,
I've
thank
known
you.
you through almost the whole journey.
Yes, you
I'm going to
have.
cry.
Yes, you have.
We met in a grief group.
Yes.
And
Right after.
Yeah, right after.
Right
And
after.
it was like I was one of the co-leaders, and the other leader, the other Debbie, her name's Debbie, we talked and we said, she's 3 months out. How are we gonna help her? How are we gonna, that's so soon, and losing your child. But she was there for a reason. God made
Yes.
eternal friends.
Yes.
And I'm just so thankful for it.
Thank you.
And I know that God's going to continue to bless
Thank
you.
you. Thank you.
I hope you have the whole gaggle full of grandchildren.
Well, thank you. I do too. And I've already got some through other people.
Yeah.
And
I understand that.
I'm so appreciative of everybody. And I want to make God proud of me. And I want to make Logan proud of me. Logan and I were really good friends. And he would call me every day just to say, "Mom, are you okay? How you doing?" And I'd say, "I'm good." He'd say, "Okay, love you, gotta go, have a good day." If he just said that to me, then he just wanted to call and check on me.
All you sons out there,
Yeah,
and
that's
daughters,
right.
and daughters.
That's right. Just
Makes
say,
a big deal.
you don't have to be on the phone for 20 minutes. Just say, "Hey, Mom, I love you. You okay?"
And trust that your mom doesn't go,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
you just have to set that perimeter.
Yes. Yeah, catch him maybe when they're going to work.
Ah.
But he was great. He was very thoughtful, and that never changed. He was always like that as a young boy. He was very thoughtful. He was very protective of me, and he was that way up until he went to heaven. So,
and which is a victory. So Beth has helped go from a tragedy to a victory.
yes, it's a victory.
It's a victory.
Yes.
And if you're Christian, you're going to see them again one day.
Yes.
And that's the promise we hold on to
Yes.
when we lose any of our loved ones. So bye for now. We'll see you next week with another special guest. They're just each so precious that I can't even tell you. I can't say it couldn't be better than Beth, because Beth is the very, very best in the world.
Thank
But
you.
I don't want anybody else to think, I don't think they are too. Oh, bye for now. God bless you.
Thank you so much, Debbie. Thank you for having me on. I love you. I'm so impressed with you.
Oh.
You are so impressive,
Oh,
period. Much less doing something like this and helping others. And just thank you for being my friend.
I love
And
you.
thank you for all your help. Thank you for listening to me and just being there for me. And I love you very much. And thank you for helping others through this. And
God
bye
bless
for
you.
now. And thank you so much.